The desert has a strange way of hiding secrets, and an even stranger way of revealing them. That afternoon, when the Nevada sun was melting the horizon into gold, a lonely cowboy named Calder Hayes rode across the flats. His hat shadowed half his face, his jaw bruised, his heart carrying weight he never talked about. He wasn't riding toward anyone. He was riding away from the gunfight that cost him his brother, away from the town that whispered he was cursed, away from every mistake he never forgave himself for. But fate doesn't care where a man tries to go. Sometimes it drags him exactly where he's needed. Calder slowed his horse. Something felt wrong. The desert was quiet, too quiet. No wind, no birds, no shifting sand, just stillness. And then he saw it, a shape in the distance, not standing, not sitting, but half buried in the hot reddish earth, as if the desert had tried swallowing it, but changed its mind at the last moment. At first he thought it was a pile of old clothes, but then it moved. Just a little, just enough. His heartbeat kicked once, hard. He nudged his horse closer, and then he froze. It wasn't a pile of clothes. It was a girl. Her whole body, except her head and the very top of her shoulders, was swallowed by sand. Her long hair plastered with dirt, her lips cracked, her eyes half open, staring straight at him. And around her, vultures, 4 of them, big, black, patient, their wings spread wide, casting uneven shadows over her face. They weren't attacking. They were waiting for her breathing to stop, waiting for the desert to finish the job. Calder's stomach twisted. Nobody deserved to die like that, not even a stranger. The girl blinked weakly, so slow it almost didn't happen. Then her voice cracked out. "Please, help me." Not loud, not desperate, just broken. The kind of voice you can't ignore. "Hold on," Calder whispered. "I got you." He jumped off his horse, boots sinking into the burning sand. The vultures hissed and opened their wings wider. Calder didn't stop. He grabbed a stone and hurled it. The nearest vulture snarled and flapped back. Another tried hopping closer until Calder waved his hat and shouted. They finally backed off, but not far. Never far. Vultures never go far when they believe the end is near. The girl's eyes filled with tears, not from pain, from disbelief. "You came back," she whispered. Came back. He'd never seen her before, but it wasn't the time to question her. He knelt beside her. The heat radiating from the sand was so intense it stung his knees. "How long you been trapped like this?" he asked gently. She blinked slowly again. Her lashes were stuck with dust. I don't know. Hours? Maybe the whole night. They left me. They said the desert would finish it." "They?" Calder's eyes hardened. She swallowed with difficulty. 3 men. Bandits. The one in the black coat. He said trapping me like this was justice. She coughed, trembling.
I didn't steal anything, I swear, but they wouldn't listen.
Calder clenched his jaw. Bandits near the flats always had excuses for cruelty. He placed a hand on her cheek. It burned with fever. "You're safe now," he said softly. But she shook her head, barely.
"No, you shouldn't be here. He told the others he'd return, that nobody should touch me."
Her eyes flicked toward the horizon. Calder followed her gaze. Nothing. Only heat waves. But he knew how this desert worked. Just because you didn't see them didn't mean they weren't coming. And suddenly the vultures lifted their wings again. Not because she was dying, but because something else was approaching. Calder felt the tremor in the ground. Hoofbeats. Distant, but coming fast. Calder's breath tightened. She wasn't asking for rescue. She was asking for one thing. "Don't let me die alone." Her eyes glistened, fear clouding every corner of her face. "I won't leave you," he said. But his mind raced. The men behind this? He could guess the type. Cowards. Vicious. The kind who didn't fear killing. And Calder had only 6 bullets left. He started digging, fast, cupping burning sand with his hands, throwing it aside. But she was buried deep, way deeper than he expected. She winced. His voice dropped soft. "I'm gonna get you out, all right? Just hold on. Don't close your eyes."
I'm trying."
A shadow passed overhead. A vulture, circling lower again. Calder glared up at it. "You're not getting her," he muttered. The girl looked up weakly.
"They thought I'd be gone by sunrise. I thought I would too. But then I heard you."
She paused for breath.
"I was dreaming about someone coming, and then you appeared, just like in the dream."
Calder almost laughed. "Darlin', this face of mine ain't dreamy." But she smiled faintly, and that scared him more than anything, because it meant she was fading again. The hoofbeats grew louder, closer. Calder worked faster, sand scraping skin from his hands. "Tell me your name," he said, forcing her to stay awake.
"Lila,"
she whispered. "That's a pretty name." He dug harder. "Lila, I need you to stay with me. Keep talking."
I can't."
"You can," he insisted. Her lips trembled.
I'm scared."
He stopped digging long enough to look into her eyes. A soft pause. "I know," he whispered, "but you're not dying today. Not like this." The bandits appeared. 3 riders, black coats, dust masks, guns glinting. The same men who left her to die. The leader lifted his coat collar and grinned. "Well, well, looks like the desert caught itself a second fool." Calder stood slowly, hands dirty, breath sharp. The leader tilted his head. "Walk away, cowboy. The girl's meant to die. That's justice." Calder spat in the sand. "That ain't justice. That's fear." The men exchanged glances. The leader chuckled. "You really want to die for some half-buried stranger?" Calder didn't answer. Instead, he stepped forward, positioning himself between them and Lila. And for the first time, the leader's grin faded. Wind returned, sand hissed, vultures shifted. The bandit leader narrowed his eyes. "You're outnumbered, outgunned, and you're bleeding." Calder wiped his nose. He hadn't even realized it was bleeding. He said only one thing. "Try me." Silence. Then, a gunshot cracked the sky. Calder dove, firing fast, rolling in the sand, kicking dust into the air. The bandits shouted, pulling their horses around. One horse stumbled. Calder's bullet had hit its leg. The rider fell. Calder fired again. Another bandit went down, screaming. The leader charged straight at him, but Calder wasn't aiming for the rider. He aimed for the reins. One shot. The horse reared. The leader toppled, hit the ground hard. The desert throbbed with silence again. Calder walked slowly toward him. The leader held up a shaking hand. "Wait! Wait!" Calder didn't shoot, but he said, "You buried a woman alive. The desert almost took her soul, but not today." He fired into the sand beside the leader's head. "Run." The leader didn't argue. He ran until he disappeared into the shimmering horizon. Calder dropped to his knees beside Lila. "You're safe," he whispered. Her eyes shimmered. "You stayed." "I told you I would." He dug until his hands bled. The sand loosened. Her body shifted free. Calder pulled her out gently, lifting her like she weighed nothing. She gasped, her first deep breath in hours. Her hands clutched his coat. Her voice shook. Why would you save me?" Calder held her tighter. "Because someone should have. Because nobody deserves to be left behind. And because—" He paused, voice softer. "The desert didn't want you gone." Lila leaned into him, exhausted, shivering. He wrapped his coat around her. Above them, the vultures circled away, disappointed. But the desert breathed again. And that, my friends, was the day the cowboy who wasn't supposed to save anyone saved the one girl the desert refused to bury. Before I end, tell me in the comments, where are you watching this story from? And what time is it there right now? Your support keeps these stories alive in the Wild West. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment your thoughts, then share this story. It helps more than you know. Thank you for riding with me today. The next story, well, let's just say the desert still has secrets, still.